Hello and welcome back to another exciting episode of me reading my mission journal. I don't have any announcements today, so I'll just start off where I left off last week. Saturday, August 16th, 2003. Clear hot, light wind, light rain in the evening. We got to the O family's house before Gianna and Noah did. When Noah came in with Gianna, he told us that they are probably through with each other. We taught them the fourth discussion, and it went very well. When I was teaching the law of chastity, I was a little worried about how they would take it, but they both accepted it, liked it, and said that they would live it. We met Elder L and Elder R at their pad. Elder L went with Elder W to interview Ian again, and I went with Elder R to teach some Filipino people, but they were not home. So we just wasted a lot of miles and then came back to the pad to wait for the other elders. While we waited, I made a sandwich. When the other elders came back, Elder L told me that Ian will have to meet with the stake president before he can be baptized. Elder W and I came back to our pad for lunch. I received letters from Heidi, from my Uncle Bill, and Brother B, and from some other people. It bites. I still have a cough today. I will sure be glad when it goes away. I have a bad memory today, and I can't remember who we visited between lunch and about 4. Around 4, we stopped by the F family to visit Narcy and tell her that word correlation is tonight at 8 p.m. She scanned a couple of pictures for Elder W and told him that his girlfriend is a bad influence and that he should not date her after his mission. They gave us ice cream before we left. We watched Together Forever with Sabrina and her family. During the show, Julian fell asleep in the floor and dreamed that he tripped in a pothole and jumped. We all laughed at him. Sabrina fed me some hamburger helper and told me that she is worried about my cough, but I told her that I am doing great. I hope she likes the video, but she really did not say all that much about it. David wants to take me fishing tomorrow, Monday, and I will go if President lets me. We ate dinner at the bishop's son's wedding reception. The bishop came up and told us to make sure that we did not stay longer than an hour. We met Narcy at the chapel for word correlation, but Brother G never showed up, so we went home. Clear, hot, light wind. We met Kiamano at the church, and I went with him to Hanley. After we got to Hanley, I thought that he was going to leave me, so I kept a close eye on him. In Sunday school, the lesson was on the word of wisdom, so I made it a point to mention that it was not allowed, that tea was not allowed, and not because of the caffeine. On the way to Kapa'a, Kiamano drove 70 miles per hour and the speed limit was 50, almost all the way home. When I asked him if he could do anything for him, When I asked him if I could do anything for him, he told me to give him a week's notice next time. Elder W and I went to the O family's house to teach Gianna and Noah the fifth discussion. The discussion went great, but after we finished the last principle of the discussion, we went off the deep end. Noah and Gianna started to argue, so Nicole jumped in on both sides of the argument and just would not shut up. Noah said that he wants to be like Jesse. We had our personal study at the pad and then went to the S family to gather all of the important information about Ian and Johnny for the baptismal record. I'm really confused about Ian and Johnny's folks. They are brothers, yet none of the parents' names or ages match. Sister S said that the mother gave different names to dupe the insurance. We had dinner at the G family. I talked to Brother G about the Navy, and he highly recommends it. He was in the Army and knows someone in the Navy. Dinner was great. For the dinner message, I shared the story about the pig at the dinner table. We went to Sabrina's house to teach Sabrina and Nikki. Nikki had not shown up yet when we first got there, so we talked story until she arrived. Elder W, Julian, and Dave talked about pee and farts, not exactly the best topic. When Nikki showed up, we taught the fifth discussion and it went great. Nikki left immediately after the discussion to go back to work. I talked to Sabrina while everyone else talked together. Sabrina told me that she knows the church is true, but does not want Elder W to know because he would try to force her to get baptized before she leaves. As we left, I asked Sabrina if I could help her unpack, and she said no. So then I asked her to call if she needed help with anything, including packing. We went home to do our planning and stuff, and I spent most of the rest of the night working on our records in the area book, filling out baptismal records, etc. I hate paperwork, but no job is finished until you've done the paperwork. Monday, August 18, 2003. Clear, mostly. Rained a little, hot and light with light wind. I wrote letters today. After we washed our laundry, we went to the first pad to dry it, and no one went to the store with me, so I decided not to do my shopping. Elder L went on a team up with me so that he could interview Ben. We had dinner with the G family at 5 p.m. and then went to Ben and Hope's with Elder L. While Elder L interviewed Ben, I talked to Hope about the gospel, children, etc. Ben was unwilling to set a date for baptism. We next went to the K family for family home evening, where we were supposed to meet the other elders to switch back, but they never showed. We were forced to eat again and take some food home. Around 9 p.m. we decided that Elder R and Elder R were not going to show up, so we left and went to the Elder L's pad. When we got there, the other elders were there already. We switched back, and Elder W and I went home. I spent the rest of the night cleaning the apartment. Tuesday, August 29, 2003. Clear, hot, and windy, but not strong. I accidentally slept until 6:30 a.m. this morning. We went to district meeting. On the way to district meeting, Elder W and I dropped our car off at the shop, and the other elders gave us a ride. District meeting was pretty fun. Anytime Elder R or Elder S gets a chance to talk, they just don't quit. Elder S is so humble, he talks so much, but I would like to be as humble. On the way home, I had Elder L stop at Safeway so I could buy some food. Elder L went in the store with me. I accidentally dropped and spilled a jug of V8 juice, and they dropped Elder W off at our pad, and we had lunch. We visited the F family for a while, and then went to dinner with the S family. They had Samoan food, but it was pretty good. We stopped at Sabrina's house, but she was not home, so we talked to Julian and David for a while. We ended the day with a visit to Jesse and Nicole. Jesse thinks that Noah is not ready and only taking the discussions because Gianna is, and if they break up, he will no longer come to church. I kind of feel the same about Noah. We did not get to visit a lot of people because of district meeting and walking takes longer. I would rather be walking or riding a bike than in a car. I felt great today, but I still have a cough. The last few weeks I have really been trunky for fishing and country music. It's kind of funny, but those are the two things that I miss the most. Wednesday, August 20th, 2003. It rained a little today, but it was clear most of the day. Hot with a light breeze part of the day. Doug was supposed to meet us at our pad at 10 a.m. for a discussion, but he did not show up until almost 11 p.m. We taught him the first discussion, and he had a huge concern about the way a prophet is chosen when our current one dies. After the discussion, he took us to lunch at a restaurant that is also a bar. I was a little uneasy, but Elder W wanted to stay. The food was pretty good, though. I received a letter from Jane, my sister, today in which she misspelled my name. Elder W and I walked to the F family to visit with them for a while, and then we walked to the other F family. Narcy was not home, but we talked to Sister F for a while. When we were about to leave, Elder W threw an orange at a huge rooster and decked him good. Sister F said that it was a waste of a good orange. While we were walking away, we scared a chicken on accident, and it thought it would fly away, but I guess that it can't see very well because it ran into a fence and hurt its leg. It really looked funny to see it fly into the fence. A long way up the road from the house, Narcy saw us as she was driving home and pretended to try to hit us and then stopped to talk. We walked to our pad so the Elder W could change shirts, and then we walked to the O family's house for dinner. I shared the dinner message on the bishop and the hay. Jesse gave us a ride to Sabrina's house. While we waited for Nikki and Sabrina to show up, we talked to Julian. Elder W passed some gas and tried to make it as loud as possible. After a while, Sabrina, Nikki, and Candace showed up. Before the lesson, Elder W told everyone that he was starting to like guys and asked Julian if he could lay on the floor with him. Sabrina told him he was acting a little off, so he put a flower in his ear and tried to laugh like a girl. Sabrina made Julian, Nick, and David leave the room until after the discussion. During the discussion, Elder W told them something, so Sabrina asked if it was true, and I said yes. Sabrina and Nikki said that Elder W says that they are not sure if it is true or not, but if I say they know that it is true. After discussion, everyone came back into the room to hear Elder W's conversion story. He was born into the church but did not gain a testimony until high school. David gave us a ride home, and we got there about 10:40 p.m. Clear part of the day and Thursday, August 21st, 2003. Clear part of the day and hard rain part of the day. Hot with a light breeze every once in a while. I received a couple of letters from Mom. I never realized how much my letters mean to her. In her letters, she said that they mean so much to her that she rereads them all the time. I almost cried when I read that. Joan told her that she has no respect for her and told her that I have said things about her. I wish that I could have a letter there tomorrow to tell her how much I love her and respect her. She does not want me to write my dad, but gave me an address of someone who will help me to be able to write him. Know that I know how much my letters mean to Mom. I will try harder to write good letters and express how much I love her in every one of them. We visited inactive people, or rather tried to visit inactive people all morning until 11 a.m. and then stopped at the F family so that Elder W could shave their dog. On the way to the F family, we were stopped by a man from the Lehui ward, and he gave us a referral. We left the F family at 12 p.m. to go have lunch, but on the way we were stopped by an 83-year-old Jehovah's Witness. I could have used her scriptures to prove that we are right, but it would not have accomplished anything. When she said that joining the service is selling your soul to the devil, I had to bite my tongue. I never realized that Jehovah's Witnesses were so unpatriotic. I tried not to have any unchristlike feelings toward people, but when they are anti-American, every time we would start to leave, she would try to talk more. When we finally got away from her, we were stopped by an inactive member, so we talked a while. We finally got home after lunch at 2 p.m. After lunch, we visited some more inactive people and then walked to the F families. We talked with Narcy for a while and then went to visit the K family. To get to their house, we had to walk across a swinging bridge that crossed the river. We did not have long to talk with them. We met Narcy and her brother at the bridge, and they gave us a ride to the F family. We had dinner with the F family, and then Brother F gave us a ride to Ben and Hope's. Ben was asleep, so we visited with the C family for a while. I don't know why, but Brother C likes to give me a hard time. The C family gave us a ride to our apartment. Friday, August 22nd, 2003. Mostly cloudy, hot, and rained on and off most of the day with a light wind. We visited the S family, and Elder W cut Malu's hair. Yanni kept trying to get us to tell our middle names. We stopped by the O family to talk to Nicole about Gianna, and then we went to lunch. After lunch, we stopped to talk to Sister B, and then went back to our pad to meet the Kapa'a First Elders so they could give us a ride to pick up our car. We got back to Kapa'a around 4 p.m. We went to visit Doug. One of his friends gave him a bunch of anti-Mormon material. I told him that it was junk, but he said he still wants to read it. We had dinner with Toa, and I shared the dinner message on the King's Road. We followed up with a few people and dropped off the baptismal clothes to the S family, and then we went back to the pad so that Elder W could write his talk. It rained really hard tonight for about an hour. We watched Elder M's homemade movie. I try not to think about anything back home, but I can't help but wonder who the girl is that told Tyler that she is waiting for me. I also wonder if it is the same girl who dropped the temple bag off at my mother's house with a note telling me that she misses me and wants to spend time with me when I get home. If she really is waiting for me, it won't do her much good if she doesn't let me know she likes me when I get home. Saturday, August 23rd, 2003. Cloudy. Rained hard in the morning, clear and cloudy with light rain off and on the rest of the day. Hot. I forgot to mention it yesterday, but yesterday I smelled something vile outside and I went to check. What I found was in a trash can full of water in the outdoor sink was a dead bloated mouse and a live mouse swimming around to keep from drowning. When we dumped the water out, the live mouse got away and I threw the dead mouse over the cliff behind the house. We went to church at 8 a.m. to set up for the baptism. There were not many people there at the baptism, but it went great. Brother A.S. baptized Johnny and I baptized Ian. Elder W. gave the talk on baptism. After the baptism, we went to the pad for a personal study and then lunch. I received a letter from Heidi. We stopped at the S family's house to visit Sabrina, and she said that she would bring Nikki to church with her tomorrow. We went to the Anahola to visit a few people. We visited with Kevin for a while. The Jehovah's Witnesses wanted to track to his street, but they waited patiently across the road until we left. We visited with Brother T and then went to visit with the other T family. Sister T was showing us some aerobics. We had dinner with the P family, Kelvin's folks, and I shared the dinner message on the military commander who did not listen to the general. We visited Napua and Nohea and set up an appointment to teach the after baptism discussion. We then went to ward correlation with Brother and Sister G and Narcy. We had a lot of fun, but still worked out what we came there for. Sunday, August 24, 2003. Partly cloudy, hot with light wind. We went to ward council this morning and then sacrament. In sacrament, it was almost skipped, so Brother C gave me a hard time about it and said, "The Lord almost skipped you today." Halfway through Sunday school, Narcy asked Elder W to teach because she was not feeling good. It went well. Sabrina and Gianna came. In Elders Quorum, I watched a talk by Elder Jeffrey R. Holland entitled "The Other Prodigal." I really needed to hear it to realize that just because a lot of the elders that came with me or after me has trained or are district leaders and I am not does not mean that I am less effective. After church, we taught Gianna the sixth discussion and set up it bothered me on my mission because a lot of the missionaries that came out when I did, they had already been training other missionaries or got called to be district leaders or something, and I never did. And it wasn't until after my mission that I realized that the reason for that was that I never broke any of the rules on my mission, but I questioned the rules. The other missionaries might have broke some of the rules, but they never questioned the rules. And I think that is why I was never given a leadership position, because I questioned the rules. It wasn't enough to follow the rules. I had to follow them unquestionably and questioning. And I questioned the rules, even though I followed them to the letter. Halfway through Sunday school, I already read that part. After church, we taught Gianna the sixth discussion and set up a time for her baptismal interview. She was worried that she would not pass, but we all told her that she would. Elder W and I had lunch at our pad, then personal study. The K family dropped dinner off at 5 p.m. We stopped by the T family's house, and the F family was there. Narcy was sick, laying on the couch. At 6 p.m., we went to Sabrina's house for Nick's 9th birthday party and for dinner. Nikki and the S family came too. I had a picture taken of me with Brienne and Yanni. Yanni mentioned that Elder W and I are completely different. I wonder why it took her so long to figure it out. Sabrina told us that she knows the church is true and she still wants to be baptized. She is just waiting for her husband. We came home at 8 p.m. for week plan. Monday, August 25th, 2003, clear, hot with light wind. We met the first elders at 8:30 a.m. and rode up with the zone leaders pad with them, where we met the rest of the zone, and then we all went to bowling. We had so much fun and took a ton of pictures. Elder K kept falling on purpose to get it on video. I accidentally fell. Most of us told Elder K that if he did not stop, he would get us all thrown out. Elder W would try to do crazy things for the video camera. Sister S is completely different than Sister T because she is fun, loud, and always happy. Sister T is not fun. She is very quiet and seldom acts happy. I don't know what is up with Sister T because she kept telling me that I am the man, and kept telling me that I am a really good bowler when my score was only the fourth or third highest. Sabrina, Nick, Brienne, Yanni, and Joe, the bishop's son, came to bowl as well. After bowling, I went to Walmart with Elder L and Elder R, and we saw Sabrina in the store. When we got back to the Kapa'a, Elder W realized that he had left our keys in the zone leader's pad, so Elder R drove him up to get them. Today, I wrote letters to Mission President and a bunch of other people. We had dinner with the C family. Before we left, they took a picture of us and I had a picture taken of me with the family. We visited Brother M and then Sabrina. Tuesday, August 26, 2003. Mostly clear. Hot, light wind. We went to Sabrina's house at 8 a.m. and watched how we're in possession with her. And then we went to district meeting. I think that I need to sit farther away from Sister T so that she will keep her hand off my leg. We came back to this one sister, she was always flirting with me, even though it was against mission rules. And she kept reaching over and putting her hand on my leg, which was also against mission rules. We came back to the pad for lunch and personal study. I received a letter from Brother B and a letter from Sister F, which made my day, which made me wish that I had not sent her the card asking if we were still friends. We went to the F family and they fed us cheeseburgers. We wanted to do some service for them, but they would not let us. We stopped by the F family to remind Narcy about the appointment with Napoa and Nohia and Kamala tomorrow. They were in a hurry to get us out of their house so that they could watch The Lord of the Rings, too. We had dinner with the S family. They had steak and potatoes. I could not eat very fast because I popped my jaw earlier today. When we went to Doug's, he told us that he wanted us to go back into the sticks with him to pray. He hooked a little trailer onto his ATV, and Elder W and I rode in it. He drove us through some pretty thick weeds, and we laid down in the trailer to keep from getting bushwhacked so often, and I had to keep picking up insects off of our clothes. Doug got lost and drove in a big circle, but finally decided on a spot to stop. Each of us in turn, starting with Doug, prayed. Then we all loaded back up and drove back to the house. Somehow we got off talking about the epistle, so Doug said that I'd rather use the urinal. And all through the night, he kept cracking his funny bone a couple of times. During the discussion, he really liked something that was said, so he printed it on his computer and hung it on his wall. Around 9:20, I told him that we had to go, but he insisted that I tell him why I joined the church so quick after I heard about it. So I told him that before I saw the Book of Mormon, I had a couple of dreams that was fulfilled by the Book Doug told us that either Joseph Smith translated the Book of Mormon by the power of God or he was the best fraud who ever lived. We got home at 10:20. I called President and he was not home, so I left a message. Wednesday, August 27th, 2003, mostly clear and hot. We met Gihanna at the church and Elder L interviewed her for baptism. After about 45 minutes, they finished and Elder L informed us that she would have to meet with the state president before she can be baptized. There are certain things that if you did, you had to be normally the district leader or zone leader could interview someone for baptism, and most people, they could approve them to be baptized. But if you had done certain things before, they couldn't authorize you and had to have the stake president to interview you before you could be baptized. I am not worried about it though, because I know that she is ready for baptism. It will all work out. The guys that are painting the church sealed the other elder's pad door, or rather masked over it as to not paint it, so that Elder L and Elder R came to our pad for lunch and personal study. After we all ate and studied, we took the other elders to the post office and then back to their pad. We went to visit Sabrina, and she gave us each an aloha tie. We helped her move some of her stuff to the S family's house. We went to visit the K family and helped them unload a fridge from their truck. We tried to set up an appointment to reteach the family, but Sister K, who is not a member, told us that she wanted to wait for her husband to get home from Oahu first before they do. We visited the bishop to get some information, but he accidentally left his church folder at school. We visited the T family and talked story for a while, and he picked the ticks off his dog. We had dinner with the S family, and we ate Philly cheesesteaks, which were very good. I shared the dinner message. We met Narcy at Napua and Nohia's house, and she taught them the first after baptism discussion. She had a very hard time keeping Nohia's attention. I guess I should have told her about Nohia beforehand. The discussion went very well, nevertheless. After we finished the after baptism discussion, we walked over to talk with the F family for a few. We stopped by Sabrina's house to say our goodbyes because her and her family are leaving tomorrow. We stood outside by her truck and talked for an hour and a half. Just before 9:30 p.m., I said that we had to go. Sabrina told us that if we left, she would wind up at the bar. She also said she wanted a blessing before she goes, and also wants her family to be blessed. Elder W told me that he was going to take my watch and break it so that I would learn to live by the spirit of law and not the letter of the law. In this situation, I agree that it is okay to stay late, but Elder W most definitely does not have the correct idea of what the spirit of law is, as evidenced by how often he misbehaves around members and investigators. I have not written down many of his misbehaviors lately, but he has had them. Anyhow, David and Nick showed up at around 9:50 p.m. and we went inside to bless them. I blessed Nick, and Elder W blessed Sabrina and David. We got home at 10:12 p.m. and Elder W called the president. Although I like Elder W a heck of a lot better than I did when I first met him, and we don't argue, still I will be glad to get a different companion. I have put up with it so that there would not be any conflicts, but I am really ticked off the Elder W because he does not let me drive or plan the day. I can put up with it until the end of this transfer, but if for some reason I had to stay with him longer, I would put my foot down. Tonight, Mars was closer to Earth than it has been in 60,000 years, and it was the brightest thing in the sky. Well, that's the end of this episode. If you have any questions or concerns, don't hesitate to comment down below, and I will do my best to answer your questions. With that said, that's the end of this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If so, I would appreciate it if you would click the like button, and I will catch you in the next episode.